Hello, 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 hobby. Welcome, ZiggyNo back with another live The Hobby Heartbeat video. This video, I'm going to talk about hobby content, good or bad. Kind of a response video, listening to some content on, um, sports card nonsense talked about this. I know people in the past have talked about sports card content. Is it good or bad, and what's going on? And most recently, I know Professor Sports Card came out and he was talking about numbers are down and sports card content's dying. And then Dan the Card Man just talked about it again today. So I want to give my insight on sports card content. I think I have a unique perspective on sports card content because I would think of all the content creators out there, and I still do think of myself as a content creator. I look at other people more than they look at other people. I really believe it. Like there's some content creators out there you can tell they don't look at anybody. They would tell you, well, I don't really watch a lot of content. I just make mine. And part of me actually applauds that. I love the fact they've got a mission, they've got a show. They just get up and go, man. I kind of really wish I was more like that. In fact, I might try to do that more. I think sometimes a lot of my content is sparked as a response to other people's content. And I don't know, that itself maybe becomes a little stale. So I'm going to talk about content today. I'm going to talk about is content getting monotone? I think it's getting monotone. It's the same voices, it's the same stories, it's the same theme, it's the same over and over and over. But there is a lot of new content. I'm going to show you some new content. I think there's a lack of leadership and innovation in content, though. I think we're just all following each other because we kind of echo each other. Um, what's this one? Oh, drama. Drama is the thing that differentiates content. I'm going to quickly. So when I first started making this video, I was going to put together a list of what I thought were, hey, I think there's good content out there. I really do. As like somebody who consumes sports card content specifically on YouTube, my first thought was, I actually think there's a good list. There's probably 10, maybe 15 good content creators I could give you guys. And then I started making a list, and I was really shit. Here's my list right there. It's not my list. There's my list right there. These are my notes. My point to this is there's a lot of people that I consider good content. I'm not going to tag them all in this video. I'm going to quickly name them all, and I'm going to tell you why I think they're good content. You can check them out yourselves. I am going to pick a few of the beginnings. I know most people dip off after I go through this. The end of the content list, you people won't be paying as much attention, but I will promise you this. The content creators that I'm going to talk about in the beginning, in my opinion, are just as good as the one in the back. My point to doing this is to say, guys, there's a lot of freaking good content out there. I don't think we did a good job of organizing it, which brings me on to a second tangent. I know Sports Card Nonsense is trying to organize some content, right? They're trying to pull together content, but I feel their content they pull together is still monotone. It's still the same voice. I've heard 3 people from Sports Card Network, Sports Card Nonsense, all say the same thing. We need to get rid of the breakers at the National. Really? Like it's like, did you guys have a meeting and talk about that? Anyway, let's go ahead and get into this. Again, no specific order, but I'm going to highlight a few that I like the most in the beginning. First of all, the CEO podcast, CEO Sports Card podcast, probably one of my favorites podcasts I'm listening to right now. First of all, I should do a graph of like the hobby and where they are on the arc of the Matrix, learning about the Matrix. These guys are still early in the Matrix. They're still learning about the hobby, which I love. They are so passionate. They are so focused on Bowman. So if you haven't heard the Sports Card podcast or the CEO Sports Card podcast, I should pull that up for you. Forgive me if I haven't done that. It's 3 guys who talk about Bowman and Bowman only. I mean, every now and then they talk about other things, but it's mainly Bowman, 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 Bowman. I've been following these guys since probably the spring. I can't wait for them to get into Bowman Chrome and Bowman Draft and just follow their insights and their journeys. Big fan. Really good content. If you want to learn about Bowman and why people chase prospects and about the high-end Bowman game and the prospecting, I really recommend listening to their channel. The next one I'll pull up is Behind the Breaks. This is another new channel that just came out on my radar in the last few months. The reason I like this channel a lot, Behind the Breaks, it's 2 guys. They're out of Arizona. I got to meet these guys in the National. They are the only ones that I think are looking at breaks and breakers and breaking in what I will call as a realistic point of view. I think it's optimistic compared to the content that's out there. Just all it is goddamn bash breakers are the problem for everything. Oh, my wax is too expensive. My local card store is blah, blah. It's all because of the breakers. It just drives me crazy. So Behind the Breaks, big fan of Behind the Breaks. And what they do is they interview breakers. I think they've had some people on the channel that are not breakers, but really just love their perspective, fresh perspective. And I'll say this again. A lot of people getting into breaks are just hobbyists who really like a hobby, and they find breaking as an easy way to connect, open product, enjoy product. Like the number one reason I think people get into breaking is they want to open product they can't afford to do. So they open it for other people and share that joy, that feeling with others. And some people actually like that. Next one, um, sold too early podcast. Um, Big fan of these guys. I think the guy who runs this is still young, maybe early 30s, young late 20s. I think his name is David. He participates at the Dallas Card Show, has a booth at the National. He always has a guest on his show or co-host. Podcast. I have found this show to be one of the best shows out there for just getting a real good view of what's going on at that dealer, that 20-something level dealer. These guys are not pro breaker at all. In fact, I think they make fun of. They're very singles market minded guys. They talk about the trade shows and the events and the hypes and have a very good perspective. I'll also point out it was on this show, on that show, Sold Too Early, is where I heard about CT scanning for the very first time. Before anybody else talked about it, those guys broke that story. The other one that I want to talk about that I love, and this is what I call great content out there, and great. I can critique every one of these guys and say there's something that I don't like about them. So I say great in a point that there is great content out there. Grip and Rip. Grip and Rip is a young guy. God, I think he's 20 something years old. I think he finished college, maybe high school during COVID, but he's been doing this since then. He is the Iron Man in sports car content. He's been going daily, live, or not daily. I mean, not live, but he goes daily, every day. Every day this guy puts out a video, and he's done it for years. More so than Sports Car Dad. Grip and Rip has done it a long time. He's very baseball focused, and he's also very Topps baseball focused. Always seems to know about the products coming out, releases, drops, insights. He's very critical. I love listening to him because as somebody who consumes Topps products, I like to hear his side of the story. I look at him as kind of like as much as you could say there's a community voice, I think Grip and Rip has a community voice. I really mean that. He's a young kid, more so than some of the other hobby content creators are out there. Because like he's really doing it. He chases retail. He goes to his hobby shop. He buys boxes. He has a budget. He's real. It's real content. The other two, I just kind of mentioned these two. These are everybody. I know these two. Sports Card Live. Huge fan of Sports Card Live. I think that show has revolutionized sports car content. It is the premier interview show in sports card content. It's done live. He does this on Saturday nights. In fact, the reason I'm doing this right now, so I want to listen to his show in a few hours. Jeremy's done a phenomenal job. He's created such a name, a brand where to be on there, for people to be on there, they recognize that in our small community, in the small world of sports card content, that is the freaking Tonight Show, and that is the Jay Leno Show. That is the and I don't mean that in a joke. I hope you don't take that as a joke. I think it's the key late night entertainment, man. I wish his show was on more. I know he used to do Wednesdays and Saturdays. He does Saturdays. He does the auction shows, but great content. The other ones that I like these two guys very much so. I look at these guys as kind of the news and what's going on, and that is it's Junk Wax Hero and Neo. Big fan of Neo. I'll just say that I'm a big fan of Neo. I love his content. Junk Wax Hero, love his content. They both do the Sunday morning updates. I think all of us probably watch both of them. It's interesting to see both perspectives. I think you can watch both, and they'll always have different stories. What I will say, I made a comment early on about the content is monotone. All the guys I've mentioned, right? Well, I won't say all the guys, but some of the guys, I feel like it's the same voice. Most of these guys, with the exception of Behind Breaks, are very break negative. CEO Sportscat or podcast is not really break negative. So they're break neutral. Some other ones. Those are kind of the ones I want to bring to your attention. Let me go through some other ones. Mike's Retro. Love Mike's Retro. It comes out every Monday morning. I wake up Monday mornings listening to Mike's Retro. I'm like, when I'm getting ready to go on the road or travel or sit in the office, whatever, Mike's Retro comes on. Spitballing Cards. Big fan of Spitballing Cards. I really like Fillington and Scotty B and Teapot and the two dudes from Blabbin and Slavin. Big fan. Sports Card Madness. Love Sports Card Madness. It's Friday morning, so you have Monday morning. I got one show, Madness. As on Friday, I like Friday's Madness. Chasing Cardboard. Love Chasing Cardboard. Been a fan of Chasing Cardboard. It is the premier show when it comes to that picking style, chasing collections. Feel good. I've watched that show and been moved to emotions, man. That show's a damn good show. Dan the Card Man. Sports Card Nonsense. They're doing better. I'm glad to see them on YouTube. And the way they're organizing stuff, it's going to be interesting, right? They brought on the Cuban, the clever Cuban collector, and they're bringing on more stuff. Sports Card Lesson, maybe one of the sleeping gems that I probably should have talked about earlier on. I really, really love Ken's freaking content, guys. If you're not following Sports Card Lessons, and I'm shocked that I think he's still under 1,000, under 2,000 subscribers, somewhere in there. One of the best guys as far as going to shows out of the Boston, Connecticut area, I think. I think it's Connecticut. Just great content. Sports Card. He goes live every Sunday night, gives you kind of an update on the weekend. You get a sense of what's going on. You want to know what's going on in trade shows? Listen to that show. He's done more live content too. Huge fan of Sports Card Lessons. 1 million Cubs. 1 million Cubs is amazing, man. Live almost every morning, but in the mornings, live, talking about live selling, talking about eBay. He's been a seller for years. I love his perception, his insights, the tips, the tricks he gives you, the community around him. Listen, join that show, guys. Join that show. I mean, real quickly, I'm still in the first column of my content creators that I think are good. I hope I'm proving a point here. There is some damn good content out there, man. There really is. Dr. Beckett does the 15-minute content pieces. I think it's like twice a week now, Wednesdays and Fridays maybe. Brandon's baseball cards. If you're not following Brandon, go check him out. He's a wax pack vintage collector of vintage wax packs. He always has a great perspective on that stuff. Also a great perspective what's going on in the hobby. You know, the buzzes, the news, what's happening. I think, man, a lot of these guys I wish I got to meet at National. Many of them I did. Many of them I did not. Brandon's one I wish I met. Ham, right? Michael Ham, phenomenal guy. Hey, what's up? Collector's Dream. Collector's Dream on my list as well. One of the vintage gurus right here is Collector's Dream Orlando. Solo Shot podcast. I believe that is on Sunday or Saturday mornings. It's run by Theo. It's a podcast. It might be my favorite baseball podcast out there. It's not a sports card only podcast. It's a baseball podcast. I'm doing my list of good content in Orlando. More phenomenal freaking content. Mike O. I love Mike O's channel because to me, Mike O is one of those guys who actually gets out there and rips the most modern baseball product to drop. He'll open a box of it, right? He gives you his perspective on it. I love that. I freaking love that. He chases the wild stuff. Like if the Bob Ross stuff comes out, he gets a box that he's going to open for you in the channel and share with you. And I love the way he explains it to you and educates people on it. I'm a big fan of Mike O's channel. Solo Shot Ham, Triple Crown 24, great perspective, maybe the best perspective for shows, right? He talks about the dealing. I love how he talks about it. And then he goes to the action of the show, and he comes back and talks about it. It's a great play-by-play. Big Scott, I think it's Big Scott 15 or 55, or just Big Scott, guys. Big Scott's live on, I believe, Sunday nights. Does some content on Wednesdays. Great community guy. Again, hobbyist. Talks about his hustle down in the North Carolina, Winston-Salem, the Dirty South, in the vintage community. But also he enjoys opening new products. He has that little new feel. I love that stuff. Because I'm Carlos, I think most people know who Because I'm Carlos is. Again, love him or hate him. And I don't have either feeling. I know he likes me less than I like him. I actually like him. I appreciate him. He has great content live on Friday nights. If you're bored on a Friday night, you can turn on Carlos' show, rewind it, listen to 2X, and you're well entertained. Who's this? Oh, Rolling with FD. You know, it's interesting to me when we talk about content creators. I remember when FD came out, it seemed like everybody was collabing with him. He's been kind of quiet, but he continues to do his show every week. I love his live. I love listening in. I love his perspective. I love his he hasn't been as many shows as he used to go to, but again, he's just one of those content creators that still is doing his thing. Where so many others, I will say, finally just dropped off. Just want to call out Rolling FD, continuing to put together great content. I don't know what my notes say. I'll come back to them. SCV, big fan of SCV. Young guy's been on fire. He's come out with new content. He did a bunch of Instagram stuff. Little Victories. If you're looking at grading cards, there's Elite 3 Co. But I really like Little Victories more, just because I like the way he's engaged with his content, tells you what he's doing, grading. He's giving some reviews. Content is pretty boring at this point. Yeah, no, it's not. It's again, I'm still on my list. I guess it's perspective, because I haven't even got to. There is another list here. Okay, Midlife sports cards. Big fan of Midlife. Greg and Midlife. One of the most just grounded, down to earth vintage guys. I would have put him in a separate list, but I'll get lost. Talk about 1 million sports cards. Clever Cuban. Simon. I really enjoy Simon. I know Simon probably does not like me. He's probably put me in his block list. And that's another thing I will say, guys. You gotta take me off your block list. If you don't like my feedback, then just say, hey, Ziggy, stop commenting on my comments, and I won't do it anymore. But I actually feel like I'm commenting to get engagement going. It helps your views, man. If you engage with me or have engagement, I can help you out. And I'm saying good. Trike 415 4 collectors. They did the promotion, the vintage trade night. Mr. Mangini. when I'm at these guys, Collector's Dream, my point here real quickly, bargain box breaker. If you are bored with the content that I just listed to you, all the freaking amazing content that's still out there coming on a regular basis, the insights that all these guys provide, then dive into the collector community. Just dive right into the collector community only and just stay there. You can swim in the collector community for freaking hours of content every freaking day. Mangini, for collectors, I love the Southern Collector, Mike Petty. God, there's just so, and I'll say too, Lonely Basement Collector and Raging Something. I mean, in fact, I was going to put together a list of these guys because there's a lot of them that are under 1,000 subs. So I really think sad. I think we should go out there and give them some sub love. They should all be up there in the sub 1,000. I like to see channels break that 1,000 so that they're smacked by the reality that monetization sucks. There's really nothing in it. But no, I'm just teasing. I want them to break 1,000 because breaking 1,000 is a big. It's a big mark, man. So again, okay, DGen Rips is another one I absolutely love. Good content. You don't have to ever buy product. Watch DGen Rips and you can have fun in watching him. I really mean that. He's also showed me products that I knew nothing about that I went out and bought. I'm like, damn, I want to get some of that product, right? I mean, there's products that I don't think he ripped this, but it was because of him that I checked out Cryptozoic when I was at the show, and I picked up peanuts, man. So DJ rips. I have the DC because of him. I want to get some of that Scooby Doo sometime too. I don't want to close properly here. I think I have Victories twice. Oh, Victor rookie card. Big fan of Victory. Rookie card, another great content provider. Come on. John Sports and Collectibles. One of my favorites. John used to be a fan. Then he didn't like me when I got in the breaking side. I think he's blocked me. I love commenting on his channels. He even reviews mystery boxes. And I really enjoy it. In fact, I will say, man, I've got a lot of creative ideas if I really follow through with them. I'd love to send him a mystery box review. Flipping Steve. I mean, freaking, I love Flipping Steve. Flipping Steve, you know, he could possibly, he's not going to, but his channel doesn't speak to who he is because he's not Flipping Steve anymore. He's just goddamn fun ass Steve in the hobby. And I love his contents and his dog and his stories. And when he's involved, he's engaging. Look, there's Mangini. Another, like I said. So my point to this video, content. There's plenty of good content. There's also some bad content out there, right? There is. There's some bad content out there, but that's really for you to decide. I appreciate all content that's being made. People took time to whether they're going to share their cards, their rip, their story, their experience. Man, in fact, let me just quickly call out. I want to say the other day I watched content on Instagram about that young lady. I can't remember her name. I'm not going to guess and make it wrong. You guys know what I'm talking about. Who put the video out there about Instagram let you track your locations? That was really good content, right? There's just so much out there. Let me just close. The last content creator I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. What's up, Pam? Man, I got people in the chat right now. My last, content provider that I'd like to call out as being, one of the ones that's one of my favorites is Sports Card Dad, dude. I watch Sports Card Dad every day. Sometimes I used to hate watching him. Sometimes I love to watch him. But I do watch Sports Card Dad every day. Is he great content? I don't know, man. But he's out there. And I'll say this. He and Mangini and Collector's Dream and Neo, they inspire lots of people to make content. I can't say how much I watch these guys. Like in the vintage community, they talk about John Mangini. Who's that guy with the long hair? Not Mike Petty. The new, younger Mike Petty who's collecting cards out of San Diego. He talks about John Mangini all the time, right? And there's other people talk about Neo and how important Neo is to them. So I love that. I love that about this hobby. Don't forget to use SCD25 on your next PSA submission. That is for Dustin, so he gets his credit. I guess I hope you enjoyed my lecture on all the great content that's out there. What I would say, I'd like to see more debate. There was a really good video today, Professor Sports Card and Geo, and there was some good conversation. I think what we need really for debate, we need like a moderator, and we need a topic and bring people together, right? Like, tonight we're going to talk about repacks. Tonight we have with us repacker Bill Frank, and then we have dealer Joe Billy, and then we're going to have hobbyist whatever. Get 3 different perspectives, man. Kind of pull it together. I don't have that capability to do that, but I'd love to see that happen. Maybe I'll try. Anyway, guys, fine card collector. That's exactly it, dude. Fine. That dude, I love that. That guy's got great content. His stories about how he got to the Chicago National. He's inspired, man. These guys are inspired. There are a lot of channels that are inspired by you content creators that are out there. They're doing amazing things. I think that's great. That's what's the greatest thing. I will say, I don't know, I could talk forever, but I hope we do more of those YouTube happy hour meetups. I'm seriously, really, depending on where I am next year in April, I'm going to try to go to Strongsville just because I think it'd be fun to go meet the vintage community. Man, I don't think I have any vintage cards at all. Guys, have a great night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining in. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be live on Whatnot tonight. That's what I get ready for. Yeah, I'll be live on Whatnot at 10 o'clock tonight. Selling Tops Chrome, baby. Come visit ZiggyNo, selling Tops Chrome. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy world we live in.